What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a new A24 movie from a director, Eva Victor, that this is her directorial debut. And not only did she direct this movie, but she also starred in it. And I didn't know much about the movie other than the initial trailer that I watched for the film, but I've heard incredible things about this since it was released. And near where I'm at, the showtimes have started to get more and more limited. And I really wanted to make sure that I got to the theater to check this out before it was gone. And I'm excited to tell you about this movie today. And the film we are going to be discussing is Sorry Baby. Sorry Baby is directed by Eva Victor. Something bad happened to Agnes, but life goes on, for everyone around her at least. So I was super excited to watch this movie. Like I said, I didn't know much about it other than the trailer that I saw for it initially and hearing really positive reviews about this. And what I will say is this is easily one of my favorite films that I've watched the entire year. I think Eva Victor is an incredibly special talent, and I really can't wait for her to do more in the future. Not only is she an incredibly talented director, but her performance in this movie is phenomenal and possibly one of my favorite performances of the year. This movie does such an amazing job taking very heavy subject matter. About a subject that is very difficult for people to discuss, especially when they've gone through this type of thing. But she handles it in a way that there's no frills or bullshit. It's just like experiencing life in a very raw, realistic, and visceral way that made me cry a few times while I was watching it. I just thought that it was absolutely beautifully done, and I can't wait to tell you a little bit about the movie today. So, at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to Agnes, played by director Eva Victor, and she's living at home. She lives in kind of in the middle of nowhere, where her nearest neighbor is a little bit further down the road, and her friend Liddy is going to come visit her, played by Naomi Ackie. And the two of them, we get very early on, they are inseparable. They've gone to college together, they've spent a lot of time together, and they genuinely love each other completely and totally. And we're at a period in life where they've graduated from school, and Agnes is working at the school that she's graduated from as a professor there. And they're going back to visit some of the friends who are also in the same graduate program that they were in. And they're sitting around the dinner table and they're discussing, where things are at. And the professor that oversaw their department is mentioned. And we can see that Agnes kind of tenses up about the situation, and her friend is there for her to comfort her in that moment. She goes back home, and we end up cutting back in time and experiencing these events that led up to this moment in Agnes's life. And the entirety of the film is just watching Agnes go through these experiences, how she responds to it, and where her life goes from there, and how she has to adapt after this horrible traumatic experience happens to her. Like I said, I thought this movie was remarkable. There are a ton of reasons why I love it, but I want to start with the performances. Eva Victor is incredible in this movie. I cannot state it enough just how remarkable her performance is. There's the subject matter in this movie can be incredibly heavy. It's discussing a very difficult situation that a lot of people unfortunately experience. And what is so incredible about her performances, it doesn't feel like overblown or inflated in a typical Hollywood way. This feels like the response a human being would have to a situation like this. And what I was so impressed with is how much of her performance is bodily and through her face. There's so much reactionary that's less about the dialogue and more about the responsiveness of the situation. When we get the scene that kind of showcases what has occurred in this character's life, it is one of the most powerful set of scenes that I've watched in a movie all year long. The patience of the cinematographer working with these actors, and obviously Eva directing, just really remarkable stuff here. And her performance just, there were so many, you just fall in love with her character very early on in the movie. And she's just so charming and likable and funny and witty. And like the way that the film builds the dynamic of these two friends and this character in particular, it just does a phenomenal job getting you in her head, understanding her experience, and then just building on that as we learn more and more and more. And that's a testament to an incredible actor. And the fact that she's doing that while also directing the film, remarkable stuff. Naomi Ackie, who I'm also a big fan of, that was in Mickey 17 earlier this year, is also incredible in this. Charming, funny, plays the supportive friend in the best way imaginable, while also learning about her own lived experiences and things that she's going through. And I just thought they did such a great job depicting these two in a way that worked very, very well. Lucas Hedges also shows up in this movie. I feel like I haven't seen him in anything in a while, and I feel like he fits the role that he's in perfectly as well. And it just creates a dynamic that's really easy to watch. This is one of the most beautifully shot movies of the year. I feel like it captures environment really well, where these characters live, the setting that they're surrounded by, which helps immerse you as the audience member into the material that much faster. I was hooked on this the moment that it started, and I feel like I just never pulled away from it. I was never uninterested in what was going on because of how immaculate the cinematography was, and I just really appreciated that a lot. And I think it is one of the most beautifully shot films of the year thus far. And as I said before, this film touches on some incredibly heavy subject matter. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So if you want to go into the movie without understanding what happened to the character, you can go ahead and skip over from this point on. But I'm going to talk about semi spoilers from here on out so that I can discuss some of the things that I enjoyed about the movie. So the big part about this movie is our lead character was assaulted by the instructor that was overseeing her department in school. And the entirety of the film is kind of learning what's happened with her after this assault has occurred. And what's so just thoughtful and well done about this movie, she just becomes empty and devoid of emotion. And you can just see the world is moving at a regular pace, but to her, it's much faster, and everything in her life is moving incredibly slow. And it's just like experiencing things and feeling them. You can tell like there's this barrier that's built up around her after this happens. And even like pursuing the things that she loves in regards to like her schooling and the knowledge that she has, you can tell she doesn't get as much out of it because it feels as though her humanity has been completely stripped away from her. And victims of rape and assault, that happens a lot of times because you feel that your humanity has completely and totally been stripped away from you. And like I said, Eva's performance in this movie, it just really kind of puts you in the mentality of this person in a way that is so raw and sometimes uncomfortable, where it's like, I couldn't imagine living and experiencing something like that and just trying to put on a face like and act like everything's fine. It's just really, and you see her over, I think like through the flashbacks, you go through like a 3 or 4 year period, and just like how it hits her in moments, what triggers her. But the thing I also like about this movie is it has its very depressing and dour moments, but there's an air of hopefulness to it. Like this horrible thing happened to this person and it is consuming her, but she's trying to find ways to move on. And I think the ways that she chooses to pour herself into certain things or to adapt to certain situations just kind of shows the strength of this character and her perseverance. And that's one of the things that I thought was so incredibly well done. It was just so beautiful and eye-opening and really raw and realistic to experiences that unfortunately so many people have to deal with. And it's also incredibly funny. Despite having really heavy subject matter, there's some truly hilarious moments in this. And I think balancing tone when it comes to an idea that's that heavy can be very difficult for even the most seasoned directors. And I think for Eva here, she just handles it very well. She manages to get through it where it can be very funny and then shift right back to being incredibly dramatic and then back to being really funny in the span of a 10-minute period. And that's just a testament to a really incredible creative. And I can't wait to watch this movie again. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. And I think if any of this sounds interesting to you, you should 100% check this movie out. So have you seen Sorry Baby? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was amazing. It's one of my favorite movies of the year so far, and I can't wait to watch it again. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.